Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Melissa Chambers Consulting Wednesday Words of Wisdom. I hope everyone's doing well and having a good week. I am hoping that this is live because it seems like it's a little bit on a delay, so hopefully you can hear me. We are talking today about something called anosognosia. And I have today's topic titled, he thinks he's fine or she thinks she's fine. We hear often in families, I've heard from at least 2 families this week, which is what made me decide that I wanted to talk about this today. One was in particular talking about their dad, and one was talking about their wife who insists that they're fine to drive, and the other one insisted that there was nothing wrong with them. And both obviously having to do with some sort of dementia diagnosis. And, the loved ones are saying how they're in denial, and I just don't know how I can make them understand that, he shouldn't be driving, that he got into 2 accidents in the last 3 months, and he's probably not safe on the road anymore, and, so on and so forth. And so I decided that I wanted to talk about this symptom, if you will, this condition called anosognosia. And it is actually a neurologic condition. And people who have the symptom of anosognosia it comes from sort of it's a symptom of brain failure, actually. It is a condition which happens from, it could be a symptom of brain failure or really a lack of development yet in younger people. And so these are, when we're talking about our loved ones living with some sort of dementia, being in denial, and we can't make them understand that something is wrong with them or that they shouldn't be driving anymore. The actual one thing that they label anosognosia is having the lack of insight. When someone suffers from this, they're not really self-aware. The person themselves is not doing this. Their brain is doing it. There's a problem with their brain, and their brain is doing this. So it is really not that they're in denial. It's not that they're in denial. It is that they don't actually have the ability anymore to recognize these changes, to recognize that something is going on. No matter what we say, no matter how we try to explain it, no matter what we try to do, no matter how much arguing we do, no matter how much reasoning we do, or explaining exactly what's wrong with them, we are never going to make them come into this self-awareness of their diagnosis or their condition, or of the fact that they shouldn't be driving, or of the fact that, that they have some sort of dementia diagnosis. We're not ever going to make them self-aware until maybe anosognosia is no longer a symptom of theirs, right? Because it is not something that they have the ability to do. Again, it's not them doing this or disagreeing with us or being in denial, or they just won't admit it. It's not them not admitting it, it's their brain. Their brain is doing this. Their brain, it does not allow them. It does not have the ability to do this, okay? So when we talk about someone being in denial, we are talking about it's a defense. Being in denial is really a defense mechanism. It's a psychological defense mechanism that our brain does to help us. But if someone's in denial, they are quite capable of acknowledging reality. They might know that, yes, this is reality, but they might be just, their brain is kind of putting up this defense mechanism, and hence we have denial. When there is a symptom of anosognosia, it's a physical inability. They don't have the ability to comprehend. So it's not open for discussion. I mean, we can discuss it until we're blue in the face, but we're not changing a single solitary thing. It is not open for discussion. So anosognosia on its own is a symptom of brain failure, as I've already said. When we add in some sort of impairment, cognitive impairment, some sort of dementia diagnosis, then most times we are talking about some sort of short-term memory loss, and then they're just not remembering the issues at hand in the first place that we're trying to talk to them about. So they think they're okay. They truly think they're okay. They might be the person that always says they feel fine, or that there's nothing, on and on and on about how there's nothing wrong with them. And so how do we deal with this? Because it can be quite frustrating, especially when we know that maybe they're not safe, or maybe they shouldn't be driving anymore. Maybe others aren't safe on the road, or maybe we're trying to, have them see a doctor because we want to see if there's a diagnosis in the first place, or what's wrong in the first place. And they are continually saying that they're fine. It can be quite frustrating for us as the caregiver. And it can also be quite frustrating for them because, if they are remembering that we're constantly bringing this up and they constantly think they're okay and we're constantly saying they're not, it can cause frustration for everyone involved. It can cause problem, like it can cause us to start arguing. And what we want to do when we're communicating with our loved ones is we want to avoid confrontation. We want to try to avoid that argument, and we are more able to do that than they are, okay? But so one thing that we want to do is we want to try to be supportive to our loved ones, but then in turn, we also have to get support. And that doesn't mean, not everybody is a support group type of person, although I think that if you tried it, you would find that it can be very helpful. Support groups can be extremely helpful, but we definitely need to find some support for ourselves to get us through this time, this period of frustration, because it's going to be super frustrating. Oftentimes our loved ones might be sort of like, get this, like, I guess, I don't know, label. I can't think of the word that I'm trying to say. We hear often the term non-compliant in the healthcare field, whether it's physicians or nurses, or, in long-term care facilities, or in the hospital system. We hear this non-compliance all the time. And sometimes there are just people that are flat out non-compliant. But when we're talking about this certain population of people, whether they have, anything, any type of brain failure that is causing them to have this anosognosia, they could falsely be labeled non-compliant, and then they might not be getting the care that they need because kind of people are giving up on them. And so another like sort of suggestion when we're communicating with them is, not to argue, to be supportive of them, be reassuring to them, but also we want to, there's a phrase, tell me about it. I have been talking about this for years. It is not mine that I came up with, but I've learned it somewhere along the way in my studies, and it is just a great term, because then no matter what it is that our loved ones living with some sort of dementia diagnosis come up with to tell us, it doesn't matter if it's nonsensical or not. It doesn't matter if we understand what they're talking about. We use this oftentimes when our loved ones don't really have that many words that they can use anymore, when they become almost, when they are at the very late stages of the disease, and sometimes it's just sounds that are coming out of their mouth. Maybe they've lost their vocabulary, but we can say, tell me about it. And no matter what it is that they say, it's fine. We can just go along with it. We can just, say okay. We want to make that okay, whatever they decide to tell us. Even if it's, look at the sky, it's green and the grass is blue, we're not going to argue with that. When we say, tell me about it, we're going to accept whatever they tell us. And that's the beauty of it, because even if it's something that we don't understand, even if it's a bunch of words just thrown together in a word salad and none of them are making sense, we can just let them talk then to us. And so I'm going to end this here. I hope this was helpful. And I know that it went a little bit long, but I hope that, you can go back and you can listen to this and, get a refresher. If it's something that you already know about, hopefully it can be a little refresher for you. And if your family is going through this, maybe it is something that, you can learn for the first time, but hopefully it was helpful. If you have any questions, if there's anything we can do for you to help support you, please don't hesitate to contact us, melissachambersconsulting.com. Our phone number is listed, our email, you can call, text, email, whatever works best. And if you are looking for a support group, you can definitely find that on our website as well under the events tab. It is free. It is no charge. It is once a month. It is virtual, if that is an option that you feel like might be good for you. Okay? Have a great day and a good week, a good long weekend, good Memorial Day weekend, and we'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.